Just kidding.
Hi, I'm Dean Takahashi. I'm the lead writer for VentureBeat at VentureBeat. We're a tech news site that's been around 8 years or so. I've been at VentureBeat for 6 years, and I've been covering the game business for about 18 years and tech news for about 25 years. So you can do the math on how old I am. Right? Anyway, happy to introduce Kahn Jekarl from Flow State Media. Kahn, do you want to tell us about your company?
I feel like I should be interviewing Dean. He's more popular. Yeah, so my name is Kahn. I just wanted to thank everyone at F50, David, Kenise, Martin. This is an amazing opportunity, so I'm very grateful to be here. But to talk briefly about Flow State Media, we're a cross-platform game company focused on mobile, and we're focused on the casual gaming market. We believe the next evolution of mobile gaming is more live multiplayer synchronous play. So we've been really focused on building that type of technology. And I'm sorry, Dean.
What's the background of yourself and some of the people at your company?
Yeah. So basically the team is composed of Zynga alumni, people from MIT that I went to school with, and people who've been making games for 15 to 20 years. We worked on some pretty big franchises like Call of Duty, Zynga Poker, Farmville, Red Dead Revolver. So we live and breathe games, and we've been studying them for 30, 35, 40 years right now. So we're thrilled to be part of the game industry.
And you're here, I guess, in part because you're closing a round of funding, I guess. But it doesn't seem like there's a lot of casual game companies out there that are raising money successfully right now. So how are you going about closing this round?
Yeah, I think prayer was a big part of that initial strategy. And yes, definitely in the Valley, they're a little bit more bearish towards casual gaming right now. But I think if you look globally, particularly in Asia, people are a little bit more bullish about what gaming is and what it's going to become. So it's been a hard road, but it's been a successful one. So we're closing the round right now, and we have some great partners, including Spark Labs Global and Strong VC. VC fund out of Los Angeles, and Meyer Capital. So we're thrilled that we're able to close it, and then I can focus on doing game development and next things.
And what have you announced just recently?
Yeah, so we're happy to announce that our live multiplayer synchronous word game called Letter Up just released globally on Thursday. So it's out on iPad, iPhone, Android, Kindle, every device that's out there. And what was really thrilling was that Apple decided to feature us. So we're in the best new game section right now. So if I bore you to tears and you happen to want to kill time somehow, you can look up Letter Up on the phone right now, and it's in the App Store. So we're just so thankful for that because as many developers out here know, getting some sort of attention from Apple it's like rain in the desert, basically.
So normally when people are bored, they've been turning to Words with Friends or Scrabble. So those are your competitors. And how do you sort of compete against big giants like that?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I mean, it's a little bit of a David versus Goliath type of situation, but we are very hungry and passionate about the games that we build. I think what makes Letter Up different are two main things. One, it's live synchronous multiplayer play. So the games are really fast, it's over 90% completion rate, and you're done in under 10 minutes. You compare that to a game like Words with Friends or Scrabble, those games, I don't know, they'll take days, weeks to finish, or never even finish at all due to the asynchronous nature of the play. So I think live synchronous play is really the focus for us. And then the second thing, we have no spammy advertising in the game, which is a really huge pain point for Words with Friends and Scrabble players. We have a different business model where we're selling virtual coins to play games. And so I think by addressing some of the biggest issues within that market, I think Letter Up is going to be really compelling for people who like those types of games.
We have a trailer. Do we want to show that now and give people an idea what the game is like?
Yeah, that would be great. I feel like I'm on the Tonight Show. We're going to the trailer.
So maybe while they're cueing that, are you concerned at all that that some of these other guys are going to come into this live space and try to do the same thing?
Yeah, that probably keeps my CTO up at night a little bit. And sure, if we are very successful, people are going to come. And I'm sure Zynga, EA, they're going to be guarding their territory and their players very, very carefully. But I think for us, we're a small startup, we're hungry and we're fast. So we need to develop features as fast as possible that are important to our players. And I think really view it as we're serving our players and taking care of what they want to see in the game. So if we're great to our players, we foster a great community, and we build features that they care about, I think we have a good shot to be successful.
Starting up here.
All the players are so good looking.
The game's not really this slow, right?
Okay, you get it twice then. Boo, movie player, whatever that is. That's pretty much the ending. So you saw the meat and potatoes of it.
So we get the idea. So you mentioned there's no spammy ads. How do you do that?
Yeah, well, I think that was something that Words with Friends and Scrabble players have just gotten used to and have to sort of deal with as part of the game. But our team just felt really strongly about if you make a beautiful, polished game, then people are willing to pay for a really high quality experience. I mean, we've seen that with console games and more mobile games nowadays that are going towards a paid model. So, with our, pay per game virtual coin model, it seems to be working well. We've been out on Facebook for more than a year and have had hundreds of thousands of downloads there. So we saw that, hey, it was successful here. Let's double down on mobile, make it a great experience. And I think we're really excited with the initial numbers and the featuring from Apple.
So I'm sure the audience is curious about how you get featured by Apple. Can you describe some of that process?
Yeah, the theme is prayer here, actually. So I prayed real hard to get featured by Apple. I think you Google it and you see that everyone says it's a little bit of a black box, and I totally agree because they give you very, very little feedback in the process. But they are listening. I firmly believe there are people reading the emails. So I think the two key things were product uniqueness. You need to offer something that's different. If you're offering the 17th Infinite Runner, but now it's with zombies, I don't know if they're going to feature you. So I think specifically in this word game category, to have a live synchronous multiplayer game, that's pretty rare, and you don't really actually see that in the App Store right now. So I think product uniqueness is key. So if there's any game developers out there, don't be afraid to, try to do something unique, but also balance it with like a market that you think is, still there. We knew that word games are popular. And then I think, falling back on a little bit of my Call of Duty marketing experience, I think it was all about saying, hey, we have a robust PR and marketing campaign to complement this featuring. So we will be firing, hundreds of thousands of emails off. We're going to get press. We're going to get game reviews. We're releasing a new trailer. We're going to be firing off on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. And every one of those channels, we had, a plan in place of what was going out. And I think they like that. Now, it's just a theory. They never confirmed it. But I think if you say, hey, this featuring is part of a larger marketing and PR campaign for your game launch, you know, I think they're more supportive of something like that.
So what's sort of next in the pipeline for you?
Yeah, well, we've played it a little bit close to our chests because we know it is a very competitive space, but we do feel very strongly that live synchronous multiplayer play on mobile devices is the next evolution in mobile gaming. I think you find that for the most part, 90% of games right now in the App Store are asynchronous in nature. So you play, it's solitary, you send a request to your friend, you know, a day later they respond. But I really think that's a future as more and more people are connected over Wi-Fi or different connections pretty much all the time now, especially at home with tablets. You can expect to have, you know, people having, you know, 10, 20, 30 minutes, even hours at a time, you know, to play games. So I think it's important. I think it's an important new trend that's going to be growing.
I think I lost a lot of friends because I took weeks to respond on the Words with Friends games.
Yeah.
Oh well. So I remember Zynga though also announced that they were going to have a synchronous multiplayer technology a few years ago, and they never really launched it on a wide scale. Sounds like it's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, I think our CTO is here, and basically he's a genius. The guy in the green shirt taking photos right now, and he's worked on, you know, real-time strategy games before. He knows how to do live synchronous multiplayer across platforms. So what's cool is we have iOS, Android, PC players. They're all playing together. We're device agnostic, which I think is an important trend to follow. And I think, you know, from our experience at Zynga, they just weren't really excited about it. And I never worked on the franchise, so I don't exactly know why. But they were all about, you know, playing with your friends and making sure that's the connection you have to the players. For us, we're more about getting you into games as fast as possible and letting you finish as fast as possible. And I think appealing to people's value of time is, you know, is a good way to go.
Are you using a particular engine here, or is this your own?
We call it the Flow engine. Yeah, it's technology engine where it's, like I was saying, live synchronous multiplayer that's cross-platform. I think that's the way to really do it, in our opinion. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I think that's where things are going to be headed.
So do you have any advice for other early stage startups who are trying to make it?
Yeah, oh man, that could be such a long answer. I would say probably the two biggest things is like try to stay as lean as possible, and just be really sort of tight with the funding. You know, maybe it's a little bit too much detail, but basically I took the minimum possible in terms of salary, so my wife wouldn't throw me out of the house, and no more than that. So that's definitely a stress. But at the same time, when I go talk with investors and tell them that, they have a totally different reaction than my wife. They're like, good, you're being judicious with the spending, you're being frugal with it, you know, and if you can get the best quality people that sort of believe in that vision and are willing to be like, hey, we're not going to be making six figures right now. We have to be dedicated, you know, towards our games, and then success will come. And then I think
then the trucks of money will roll in later.
Yeah, we'll see. It's still a little bit early for us. But then I guess the other thing would be, like I was saying earlier, like in terms of product uniqueness, like really trying to push. You know, I know that a lot of game developers, you know, you want to be conservative, but then you're more incremental in nature. And I think that's the death of a lot of startups, is not to try, you know, something so different. You know, we saw the great Steve Jobs quote about, you know, the crazy thinkers, and I love rereading that time and time again, to know that, yeah, my ideas are a little bit crazy, maybe that's a good thing.
So you're a mobile game company, how do you deal with the cost of user acquisition?
Yeah, I think this is the most popular gaming topic in the past couple of years. You know, for us, you know, we worked at Zynga, so we saw how it all worked, to look at your LTVs and your cost per install and making sure that's profitable. But at the same time, you know, we've worked on console games before where the focus is on polish and making a really beautiful game. game. For us, we don't want to spend all our time just managing like CPIs and things like that, because for us to be successful, the real thing is actual word of mouth and a game that people like enough to actually tell their friends. So if you can do something like that and reach that sort of tipping point, you're not going to have to worry about cost per install and things like that. So it's all about focus on quality and great experience for the players.
And if you're thinking about sort of the farther future, what do you think about new game platforms?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of cool things going on, and my CTO and myself, we definitely stay on top of the news, and we see things about like Oculus Rift and the Apple Watch. So I mean, we haven't announced any specific plans of platforms to support, but of course if you can be the star new game on a quickly growing platform, of course you want to do that. I think Zynga Poker and Farmville were good examples of that with Facebook. So we're excited to look at the different platforms, but we have to like really understand if it's a good fit for us. What are the development costs involved, and making sure that there's a user base that's really going to explode for us.
Very good, thank you.
Thanks so much, Steve.